Hi guys, I'm Ivory, and today I'm going to be doing a full face of Sephora's best-selling makeup. Most of the products I have used either on camera or just when I'm playing with makeup, so I'll be able to tell you whether or not they're good. But some of the products are new, so it's going to be a mix of like first impressions, but mostly I already know how I feel about each of the products. But before we get into the video, be sure to subscribe if you haven't already. I post new videos every single week, and also be sure to follow me on my social media. Everything is _ivorycherry. Alright, so I'm going to start talking about the products in the order that I did my makeup. Since I already did my makeup, what I wanted to do is kind of just talk about the makeup, and then I will put in clips of me actually applying the product. Let me know if you're okay with this format. I do it very often with my wear test, so I thought it might be okay to do it here. But some people prefer watching me do my makeup and talking at the same time. For me, it is actually easier to do my makeup and not talk and then talk about it afterwards. For one, it is easier to edit, so it's a little selfish on my part, but also I do find it easier to just talk about the makeup and not have to do my makeup at the same time. You have no idea how much I edit so that I don't have these long ass pauses in between my sentences, because I am not great at doing makeup and talking at the same time. Maybe if there was another person here, but when it's by myself, it's pretty freaking lonely. And also the segment where I actually do my makeup and then actually talk about the makeup is somehow shorter than if I did my makeup and talked at the same time. I don't know if that applies right now, because I just literally spent like 6 minutes explaining why doing this format saved me a bunch of time, but then I'm talking about how it saves me a bunch of time. So at this point, did it really save me a lot of time, or did I just cancel it by talking about how much it saved me a lot of time? I don't know. We're just... Okay, so the first thing I did was brows. I used the Benefit Precisely My Brow Pencil. I have the miniature travel size, so it doesn't have a spoolie on it. I used the shade 4.5. I do actually really like this pencil. I like how teeny tiny the tip is. There are some things in my routine that I'm picky about. Foundations I'm very picky about. Mascaras I think I'm picky about. I don't know if I'm picky about brow products, because I've dealt with a lot of different tips and I can make them work for me. So I'll say that I really like creating hair-like strokes with this one, but I feel like because the tip is so small, it does take me longer to do my brows with this versus something like the Anastasia brow definer. So I think this is nice. This might be best for someone that doesn't have a lot of brows and wants to create hair-like strokes. So I do think it's a good product, but not necessarily something that I would repurchase or feel like once I run out, I have to get it again. And then afterwards, I did my eyes. I used the Urban Decay eyeshadow primer potion. I've pretty much used this completely up. I do like this one. I have gotten used to a more full coverage eyeshadow primer. This one is quite sheer. So if you want something that's on the sheer side, this one's really good. Otherwise, you might want to add like foundation or concealer first and then put this on top. And then for the eyeshadows, I used the Huda Beauty Mauve Obsessions. I was really happy that this one is highly rated because I love this eyeshadow palette. I've used this countless times. I mentioned this in my best eyeshadows of 2019's video. I love this color story. My second favorite thing to wear for eyeshadow other than neutrals is when I have wearable pinks, and that's what this is. It's like wearable pinks and purples. I will say the one color I kind of have an issue with is this one up here. You kind of have to dig a little bit hard in the pan, and that's even if you use your finger. So this one's the only one where I feel like it's pressed a little bit hard, but it's weird because the other two shimmers I don't have an issue with. So yeah, I concur with everyone else that this is a good palette. All right, and then next is primer. So I got the Hourglass Mineral Veil Primer. This is obviously the mini size. People say that this makes their foundation last so much longer. You know how I feel about primer. I feel like it's not a necessity. As long as you have a really good long-lasting foundation, you should be good. I do remember wearing this on my wedding day along with the Estee Lauder Double Wear. It did last a long time, so it could be the primer, it could be the foundation, it could be a mix of both, but I will say that this is a hefty price to pay for your makeup to last a little bit longer. You have to understand, I am one, very frugal, and two, when something's high-end, I am a lot more nitpicky about it because it has to justify that price point. The formula has to be worth it, and I don't know if this is. For foundation, I use the Fenty Beauty Pro Filter Soft Matte Longwear Foundation. This is my first time using this foundation. This is the next foundation that I'm going to be doing a wear test on. I asked you guys on both Instagram as well as here what you would prefer to see. The choices were comparing this foundation on one side and then the other half with the Fenty Hydrating Foundation, or I could do two separate reviews for each of the foundations. And on both platforms, you guys wanted me to compare them side by side, so I will be doing that. But so far, I like this one. It was a soft matte. The coverage was really good. Oh, it says shake well. I didn't do that. Well, I still liked it either way. The coverage was actually really good. I would say it's medium full on one layer. I liked it enough that I only did one layer. So I feel like for one coat, even though things do show, I don't really mind. So far, we're off to a good start. I have a good feeling about this foundation. If there is a makeup god out there, I really need this to work out for me. I am going to the club with my friends tonight. I'm leaving the house at 10 p.m. And I say that with emphasis because that is usually when I go to bed. And then the club closes at 4. I don't know if we're gonna stay out that late, but if the music's good, I know I will stay stay out that late. So I need this foundation to work out for me. Please, please. And then next I applied concealer. I used the Kaja Don't Settle concealer. I don't have the right shade. This is Banana Milk. It's way too bright for me. I applied a little bit under my eyes, and then afterwards on the outer perimeters of where the concealer was, I added a little bit of the Fenty Beauty foundation. This has really good coverage. It blends out pretty nicely. I will continue to use this. However, just know that I kind of have nice under eyes. I don't know if there's like a less obnoxious way to say that, but I don't feel like my under eyes are very dark and they're not super creasy. I have like 2 lines under it. So I don't know if I'm the best person to ask for concealer advice because I've tried a lot of different concealers and they all seem to work for me, even the ones that people really hate. All right, afterwards, I set my face. I use the Hourglass Translucent Setting Powder. This is a very nice powder. This is really great for people that want to set their face and they don't want it to be like chalkboard matte and also feel super drying. It has a way of setting your face really nicely without it feeling very cakey. But even though I do like this mini size is $20. Let me repeat that because I feel like you don't fully understand. This mini size is $20. It's a little too steep for me. The thing about this powder is, even though I spent a lot of money on it, for me internally, I can say it's expensive as hell, but at least I can see that it works and it's like a good product. So that justifies it for me. It's not like the Pat McGrath foundation where you're like, oh, it's super expensive, but it's Pat McGrath and I know I'm gonna get quality stuff. And then you wear it and after 4 hours, it just looks like absolute garbage. And you're like, why? Why? But that's not the case with this powder. You'll be like, okay, it's expensive, but at least it does a good job. But for me, going a little bit harsher on high-end products, I feel as long as you have a really good long-wearing foundation that is compatible to your skin type, you can go a little cheaper on the other base products like powder, primer, because a really good foundation is gonna be able to compensate for that. Next off, we have bronzer. I use the Benefit Hoola bronzer. This used to be my favorite bronzer ever. I didn't think anything would ever compete with it. I still really like this one. I like the color of this one. I like the undertone. I like the blendability. It's still a good solid bronzer. I never use it anymore because I used it for like a year straight and then I was like, I feel like people are getting tired of me using the same shit over and over again. Kind of strayed away from it, but I kind of want to incorporate it again. Next is blush. The best selling was Tarte Blushes. I do actually like Tarte Blushes. I do like their formula. I feel like they last a good amount of time. I am a bit of a blush fanatic. There was a time where I was only doing bronzer and I didn't care too much about blush, but that phase is over. Blush is back in my life. And even though these are good, I don't feel like they last longer than drugstore blushes. From what I can tell, it is kind of hard to mess up a blush. So even though these are a good formula, I feel like drugstore ones are comparable. I feel like I keep saying that about a lot of the products, but I want you to spend your money wisely, okay? Oh my God, I just realized I didn't apply any highlighter. All right, let's change that right now. I'm using the Becca Champagne Pop. I don't know if I want to like highlight. You know, I'll go really subtle on the cheeks. I don't really care too much if my cheeks are highlighted, but I like when my nose is. That's really the only place I care about. I do like this highlighter. I love the color of this. The one thing about Becca highlighters are they're very soft. I wouldn't trust bringing them to travel with because my friend actually shipped me 3 of the Becca highlighters and one of them is like pretty much completely smashed. This one popped out of the pan and the other one, I don't know, I can't remember, but 2 out of the 3 were a little bit damaged. So just know that they are very soft, so you want to treat them with care. You should treat makeup with care in general, but just treat these with extra care. The one thing I didn't get is a mascara. I have tried so many high-end mascaras and they never work out. After like 5 mascaras that just smudged, they flaked, they just didn't work for me. I was like, forget it. I'm gonna stick to the drugstore because there are so many drugstore ones and I really don't have this issue nearly as often with drugstore ones. You know what? I'm gonna look up right now the best Sephora mascaras. Okay, so the best one, okay, that's no surprise. It's the Too Faced Better Than Sex. I've tried it. It's too clumpy on me. The brush is too big. It's smeared on my lower lash line. And I've even tried the waterproof one. And the waterproof one is better than the pink one. But again, it's too clumpy and it takes way too much work to remove it at night. Out of all the waterproof mascaras that I've tried, that one is the hardest to take off and it would take out my lashes with it. I have like 10 lashes total, so I'd like to keep all of them. Thank you so much. The next bestseller is the Benefit Roller Lash. Yeah, I didn't think that one was very impressive. It didn't smear on me, but I was like, what is this? This is just like the most basic mascara ever. You remember that really generic one from Maybelline? It's like pink, but it has like a green cap. It's like that formula for me. Like it's clear I have mascara on, but they look boring as hell. The next one is the Benefit Cosmetics Their Real Lengthening and Volumizing Mascara. I don't think it smudged on me, but I didn't repurchase it, so that tells you whether or not I think it was that great. Let's see what else. The Milk Makeup Kush Mascara. I actually really liked the separation and lengthening from that one. Smeared on my lower lash line. Pass. Tarte Lights Camera Lashes. Basic. Buxom Lash Volumizing Mascara. Same thing. I don't think it smeared on me, but I wasn't impressed enough to repurchase it. I think that's enough. I've tried way more though. Also, for someone that says that they don't like high-end mascaras, I didn't realize that I've tried so many. So yeah. Learn from my mistakes. Oh, and same thing with lashes. I cannot justify spending $30 on lashes. I'm happy with my Ardell's, my Amazon lashes. Excuse me. It's not actually that I don't like high-end false lashes. It's more so I don't want to like them because I don't want to spend $30 on false lashes. All right, you get the point. Remember how I said that doing things this way was gonna save me time? Yeah, how's that working out for me? The next thing I did was I set my brows. I used the Benefit GimMe Brow. I really like how small this spoolie is. It really helps create like this nice point. I also like that with a small spoolie, you won't have like a ton of product. So you're not gonna get like these big clumps of brow gel in your eyebrows. I think there are a lot of similar formulas that are equally as good, but it's the small spoolie that really makes it for me. That's the one thing that drugstores haven't gotten right. They always have like this big chunky spoolie and I don't like it. All right, and then the last thing is lips. So I use the NARS Power Matte Lip Pigment. This is in the shade American Woman. This is one of my favorite liquid lipsticks. I only need one coat and the staying power is really great. And the formula is not drying. Sometimes liquid lipsticks are way too dry and then I get these butthole lips. That never happens with this one. And this isn't on my face, but I wanted to talk about it. Sephora Lipsticks was also listed on the page of best-selling lipsticks. I have a couple of Sephora lipsticks and they're not that impressive to me. Some of them are kind of patchy and even after multiple coats, I can still see my lip peeking through. And they are creamy and moisturizing, but it's a little bit too much because they stick to my teeth. So that's always, you know, really pleasant when someone points that out to you. I feel like they kind of rigged the algorithm so that their lipsticks would be on the page. You remember that episode on Friends where Phoebe was like, who here likes Ross? And Ross is like, I feel like it's like that, but you know, this is all conjecture. But that is it for this full face. I hope that my reviews were helpful for you. I feel like it was a little bit negative because I did often say that you could find something either cheaper or as comparable at the drugstore. And to address that, aside from, did I say I didn't like anything on my face? No, it was just mascara, but I didn't even use a high-end mascara. Oh, and the foundation because this is the first time I'm wearing it, so I can't give an opinion on it. Everything else that I tried on my face, I do actually like. And if money wasn't a factor, I would be comfortable recommending them to you. But money is a factor in a lot of the decisions we make. So even if something is really good, I might be willing to sacrifice on the quality for something that is way cheaper. Which is why even if I really like a high-end product, it's really hard for me to justify that price unless I truly feel like there's nothing like it on the market. In this case, I feel like all the products that I mentioned have some type of substitute for a lower price point. Maybe I should have done a video where I did like Sephora bestsellers and then talk about cheaper dupes. Maybe that would have been a better video. But the video's already, we're in the end zone here. But I just wanted to end on that. I hope that this video was helpful for you. And if it was, don't forget to like it and feel free to comment down below what videos you'd like to see from me. Thank you so much for watching and I'll see you in my next one. Bye.